Hello and welcome back to Magnolia, New Jersey for Heiser Media's coverage of the 2025 Stafford Open driven by Innova. I'm Nathan Johnson, joined in the booth today by Emily Dale. How's it going, Emily?
That's me. Doing good and enjoying this beautiful coverage here of springtime in New Jersey.
Yeah, it has been great so far. We've got ourselves a good, interesting battle here at the top. Lucas Oberholtzer Hess has been able to hold on to his lead that he started the round with. The rest of our lead card looking to make up some ground here on the back nine and make this thing an interesting finish for us.
Yeah, and Stafford has a lot of scoring opportunities, a lot of par fours and fives out there that you never know what's going to happen. Speaking of which, heading over into hole 10, it is a par 3, 265 feet. It looks just dead straight, but the gap is very narrow. So that's definitely one of the challenges of this hole. While it might not be long in distance, your gap, it feels like it's like 10 feet wide the whole way down the fairway.
Yeah, back nine starts the same way the front nine did with just a nervy little gap to hit. Lucas hits the initial gap well, catches a late tree, but honestly probably didn't make much of a difference. He's still going to be inside the circle putting for birdie.
Good stop there.
Yeah, Chris with a little pump fake for us.
He doesn't like it, but might get a little sneaky there for him. One of the pieces of this hole that makes it challenging is once you get off the fairway, you can see those, I don't even know what type of plant it is, those low bush thingies.
I'm not going to act like I know.
They're hard to get around, man. They're always in the way.
They are. This is a great line.
Yeah.
And Stocklin, nice little flip up and push. Goes actually a little bit long even. Very well thrown. And Kevin Sheehan here is going to round out our lead card. He's got a nice throw here as well.
Rounded the ace?
Online. Yeah. For those of you that didn't watch the front nine, Kevin is also our third commentator today.
And if you didn't, go do it now. Or else.
Yeah, if you didn't watch the front nine, I mean, why are you here, right? I feel like that's implied, but you never know. Some people might not understand how the YouTubes work.
The internet.
Lucas got himself maybe a 30-footer here for birdie, just a bit high.
Nice supportive tree there to keep him comforted. Great putt there from Kevin to snag the birdie.
Our card today, so far 100% bounce back rate. We've seen 5 bogeys and we have seen 5 birdies immediately after them. So
it's a great stat.
These boys are staying mentally locked in. That was a nice birdie for Andrew as well. Going to make up a stroke on Lucas, bring the deficit to 2.
Good par putt there from Chris. As we see Lucas cleaning up his par as well. And we head over into hole 11. This is a par 5, the only one that you're going to see out here, with 775 feet. And the name of the game, honestly, on this hole is just play smart and keep it in the fairway. A lot of players are probably going to disc down to a mid-range or even a putter just to get some nice clean shots this day. But honestly, even in the fairway, you're still having to finesse some shot shapes. This is a really fun wooded par 5, I think.
Yeah, and just a little early release there for Andrew. I like to call holes like this like a forward progress hole, right? Because it's 775. It's not crazy long, but it is the woods are fairly tight the entire way. So as long as you're hitting the initial gap you're going for on every shot, you should be in some position to get a birdie. That one pushed a little bit deep for Kevin, but plenty of forward progress. Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, distance isn't long, so maybe take the medicine, disc down a little bit, and just finesse some shot shapes. Unfortunately, pulled there from Lucas. That's going to be a challenging position for him.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough lie too. With that tree right in front of him is pretty wide, so might have to get a little creative with the stance. Rest of this card should be licking their chops because they're gonna have another opportunity to make up some ground. That is a great shot from Chris. Pretty much couldn't draw it up any better.
Yeah, you can tell Chris is a wood specialist. You can see he keeps those drives low and online to really minimize any negative reaction off a tree. Good recovery, honestly. Gets it in the fairway.
Yeah, Lucas showing off some of the ultimate frisbee skills he's picked up in the past couple years of college.
And I love this angle because you see, even on the fairway, you're still finessing a shot, which is one of the things that makes this course so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, that was picture perfect throw from Lucas there. Just a little baby flex to work around that late fairway tree. Faded back just in time. Catching a late one there, but should still be in position for birdie. And yeah, we finally got into Chris's tee shot.
Beautiful shot there for his second shot as well. And this is what happens when you're off fairway. You see these darn bush trees.
Bush trees is now a copyrighted term.
You heard it here first.
Emily Dale 2025. Please tell us what these things are actually called. We are not biologists. A little aggressive line there, trying to push the ceiling. You mentioned it on the front nine. There's a lot of low ceilings here.
Mm-hmm.
Chris taking advantage of it well. Sometimes players try to get a little aggressive with some higher routes. It's going to be tough to pull that off. So Lucas looking to get up and down here to save his par. He did it, and I think he means underturned that upshot, but it did get through, luckily for him, and he's still going to have like a 25-footer to save the par.
Yeah, he didn't like it, but great results there, and he looks like he was trying to throw it in. Great basket height. Unfortunately, he snagged one of those trees in front.
Yeah, and Andrew over here scrambling on
Through the bush trees.
Through the bush trees on the right side of the fairway. But yeah, great shot from him as well. Puts it close. And we're finally to Chris's second shot. He could give this a bid. This is another Chris Villa special, right? Little 180-footer, touchy putter shot. So good at these.
Trying. Oof. Well played.
Textbook. Just never out of position. Just the easiest birdie you'll see probably all weekend on this hole.
Yeah, just hit the fairway. No big deal.
Yeah.
Great par save there from Lucas as well for honestly hitting probably 40 to 50 feet off the tee and being in an awkward position.
Yeah, that is a very good par to most likely keep the cushion, keep the lead at 2. Chris is tapping in for birdie to get him to 12. Andrew should be tapping in for par to keep him at 12. So that was an important scramble. Or actually, this might be a bogey. I might have missed a shot. Yeah.
Hole 12. Feels like a shorty here, especially after that par 5. 243 feet. It is playing uphill. Playing is one of the easier holes. You're throwing a hyzer, but these tiers, once again, well positioned and designed so well that you can't just kind of hit the ground and scuttle up to the basket.
Nice.
You have to get that air, but there are those guardian trees around as well that make it challenging for being a short hole, but not for Chris.
Apparently, it's easy. You just throw it and hit the pole and sit right next
to me wrong.
Yes. No, that is a really great shot from Chris. Good height and distance control. Lucas gonna match him with a great shot of his own.
you see him snag one of those trees and hopefully check up as it rolled down the hill a little bit for Andrew.
Yeah, his just came out just a bit early. You got to push that. You can see the one tree kind of on the left side of the end of the fairway. You have to push that tree, fade just in front of it for the ideal line. This one is inside as well, and yep, does not quite get through for Kevin. I think, unfortunately, our bounce back birdie streak is going to come to an end. I shouldn't have said anything. I jinxed it. The announcer jinxes alive and well.
It's always your fault.
It usually is. Long birdie look for Andrew. Does give it a good run, but just a bit right.
Still some good pars, as you see Villa's disc just enjoying its time under the basket. I always love to see the players go through their full routine even on these short ones, just to make sure your head's in the right space and you're doing the full stroke, even on the little guys. Maybe not for this one for Chris, but
yeah, that one's hard to miss.
Here's our check-in. Andrew and Chris really having some hot rounds here.
Yeah, trying their best to put some pressure on Lucas at the top. See what they can do down the stretch.
Heading into hole 13. This, I believe, played as the easiest hole in round 2. It's a shortest hole on the course, par 3, 204 feet. It's a narrow fairway once again, but it's playing downhill, and it's really kind of just a chip. Chris going to that backhand putter turnover, sliding perfectly up to the basket. Expect to see some of our other players here just going for a chip forehand.
Yeah, the Chris Villa forehand is a rare sight. If you see it, then something is most likely gone majorly wrong. Lucas just pulled that one ever so slightly. And Chris is going to have a chance to bring this thing within one.
Yeah, Andrew going to the standstill, giving it a little bit of ace run there, looks like. Good shot.
Yeah, had the height. Just needed to push a little more. This one is just staring right. Like, if you go forehand, it is just perfectly in line with the natural fade of the disc. So, a little Nova action, I think, for Kevin. Love to see it. And it did its job there.
It's going to be still a little bit of a tester here for a par save for Lucas on what feels like a must-get birdie.
Yeah, that was not an easy up and down from where he was, but makes a really nice putt there from just inside the circle to save the par and only drop most likely one stroke to the rest of his card.
A little low, but she stayed in there for Andrew.
Hey, dead center, right?
There's our course commentator in action, Kevin on the ground.
Yep, nice birdie for him as well. This did play, unsurprisingly, as the easiest hole on the course at a 2.44 average. So you hit the gap, you're most likely getting the birdie. Not a foregone conclusion. That gap is pretty tight, but our lead card's showing you why they've earned their spots here.
Heading into hole 14. It is a par 3, 285 feet. It's short, but it's a really specific shot shape. As you can see, it's not really a stock backhand hyzer. It's a little bit twisty and turny on the way. I'm sure somebody's going to prove me wrong here, though.
Chris is trying to do the stock
Yeah,
backhand hyzer. And
they did it pretty well, yes. So
yeah,
if
I
you take
mean,
that inside route, it really does work well as long as you can get through. You can see this is the more common shot, I think, is trying to flex a forehand up there. Fortune is just a little bit turned and didn't quite get the full flight out of it.
yeah, you can see it better from the catch cam angle, but that line that Chris took is tight. Like he's missing quite a few late trees by 3 feet on each side. But he just so happened to pure it. This flex forehand line is a little bit wider, but
Trying to
obviously
hit Dave, I
a
guess.
technical shot to get that angle right and make sure you have the right disc selection. This is looking good for Lucas. Just probably needs to slow down a bit.
That was close.
Yeah, plop there nicely. Kevin looked like he came to about just outside circle long and just misses a bit high there on that putt.
Nice birdie there for Lucas.
Good birdie for Lucas. Villa's going to tap in his 4th birdie in a row.
And that gets Chris to 8 under on the round, which is a pretty hot pace to be keeping. Heading over into hole 15, we're going back out into the open just for a little bit. Par 4, 831 feet. This does not have OB on the fairway. However, getting up into this green is where this hole gets tricky. So we have a lot of guardian trees, and we have the basket tucked up into this little formation.
Yeah, it's a funky little green. Hard to navigate, but makes the hole interesting for sure.
Yeah. You have a lot of weird angles on your putts usually. Second shot, you're really just trying to push in there, hoping for the best. As we see Lucas likely opening up here.
Yeah, that one smoked.
And that's a bomb.
Can't do much better than that. He's going to be probably have mid-range putt or something like that into the green after a, I would think, 500-foot drive. Good shot there as well from Andrew. He's going to be a little bit on the left side, but should still play fine.
This is always an interesting tee shot because it feels like you're in the woods to start with a tighter feeling gap, but it really doesn't come into play as much as you're just ripping to get as far as you can. You can see the basket there in the background. It's not that short silver one. It is the red basket that we are playing to.
Yeah, but it is a good marker to kind of give yourself a sense of direction for where you're going.
And this was what you're going to see a lot of, just throwing and hoping for the best reaction down into the green area.
Flex forehand, interesting choice, trying to go through that early gap, fade back towards the basket. But didn't quite get there. Kevin just going to opt for the straight backhand at it.
I do like that forehand play because you can see how this hill is angled. So if you come in too high or take a skip, you can skip pretty deep on this hole. So trying to mitigate that with the forehand. Smart play.
Yeah, and looks like Lucas likes it as well because he's going to do the same here.
He's looking like straight at the hole, which is crazy, or at the pin.
Yeah, just a bit of an early release, though, kind of skips down the hill. See what kind of putt he's left with. Important scramble for Andrew, and that is very well executed.
Good bid there, stays on top. If you haven't gotten out to play Stafford, I highly recommend it. It's just outside Philadelphia, so definitely accessible, and they do a lot of great work out here to make sure it stays tip-top shape.
Big putt here for Lucas, opportunity to give himself a 2-stroke cushion over Chris Villa, and he snags the right side chains for a huge birdie putt.
That is one you're thanking the basket for.
And he did. Good. Gotta respect the elders. And the disc golf gods alike. So we're going to see pars across the board here. A huge birdie for Lucas. Going to give himself a 2-stroke lead with just 3 holes left here.
Here's our leaderboard check-in through 15 holes. Like you said, just a few left, but still just a 2-stroke lead. And there's a lot that can happen out here. So we're going to be in an open hole with some OB and then some tight wooded holes, but some really good golf out here that we're seeing. Hole 16. It is, once again, shorter par 5 at 545 feet, but we do have OB lining the fairway and then an elevated basket down here. I'm curious to see how they're going to attack it. I know we have some big arms on the card. Are they going to take the risk?
Selfishly, I wish that Lucas was playing worse so that he would make a bad decision and go for the green here. But I have a feeling that he was not going to do that given the circumstances. Unless maybe
I don't know. He has a driver.
Oh, he's going for it. Never mind. He doesn't like it. Is it going to be left? It's. Oh wow, that's close.
It's safe by inches, but I respect the send. Love to see it.
Wow, yeah. I mean, I guess if you know your disc isn't going to turn over, and you're Lucas, and you go if the miss is OB left, then I guess why not give it a send.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're going OB left that far down the fairway, you're still saving your par.
Right. But instead, he's probably going to have the easiest birdie of his life from there, just a 90, maybe less foot pitch up. Andrew doesn't like this, but I think it should be fine.
Yeah, the fairway does pinch a little bit there where his disc was headed, but he did check up safe.
Oh, this is wide, but it got a nice little lift. Oh, yeah, should be great.
Dead center fairway.
Yeah, with this little bit of wind we're having, I'm curious how this hanging basket is going to do.
Sounds like we have some like wind chimes or cowbells as well. Unclear, but...
Yeah, something's making noise, that's for sure.
Every time I hear wind chimes, I think of Twister. There's going to be a tornado.
Something's brewing.
Pretty stock upshot here. Trying to throw it in.
Respect the run there.
This is Lucas's look for eagle here.
Yeah, from 55 feet, maybe less.
Almost pin high. But like you said, the basket's swirling.
Good effort.
Yeah, good reaction too. You're always worried when you hit the top of the basket like that, especially with wind.
Yeah,
Good
that
birdie putt.
basket is moving quite a bit. Got to be careful when you take the disc out to try to keep, keep it
Good
still.
respect. Yes.
Yeah, wind is whipping, that's for sure. Especially on an elevated basket, you're always going to get more um, exaggerated reactions, both from the wind and in terms of like basket's catching ability. So definitely want to make sure you put this one in the middle, even though the middle is changing every second.
It's a pendulum basket.
Same. You can try to stop it from moving, Lucas, but it's just going to keep going.
It brings a fun element for this C tier. You don't see hanging baskets too frequently. I know in previous events they have tethered it down, but that's no fun.
Yeah, you gotta let it be free.
Back into the woods, hole 17, another par 4, 648 feet. Players are really wanting to get down the hill right around here, and that should give them a pretty good look to attack up to the basket for birdie with a straighter shot. It does play downhill, so you're probably just wanting to kind of push something pretty straight here. Looks like Lucas is going for the forehand to try to get around that corner more.
Yeah, just a little yank, and that's a big gap miss, because now the door is back open for Chris. 2 strokes with 2 holes to play. If he can hit this one, give himself a birdie look. Would be huge, but he just pulls it a bit as well.
Yeah, and that's a bad kick too. You see that shot into the woods. You know, when the camera turns that hard, it's never a good sign. But hopefully he has something he can scramble with over the bush trees to get up to the pin.
Yeah, might have some sort of backdoor look. Oh, the shot was looking really nice from Andrew, but it just flipped up a little too much. Caught the left side.
Yeah, even though they are back into the woods, you can see they're kind of close to the edge, so they're getting a lot of wind reactions in the woods that you wouldn't expect otherwise.
That was a great shot from Kevin. Absolutely pured that fairway.
I think this might be Chris that we're looking at in the middle of nowhere there, trying to scramble. Not quite sure where that ended up, but likely have a chance to save par.
Yeah, either way, it looked like it kept moving the whole way. This one's fading out a bit early, and yep, catches one of those trees.
Those are some clean braids on Lucas. We need to know, did he do them himself, or does he have a braider?
They're crispy.
Very crispy. Parked the short basket. We'll have a little bit left to get to the pin we're playing to today.
Just maybe.
But that'll do just fine there.
Yeah, well played hole from Kevin. Just not an easy birdie, not an easy tee shot. Just a pitch up for par from Lucas. Should be able to hold on to the lead. Chris has gotta try to make this upshot if he wants a chance, because 18, not going to see a lot of 2-stroke swings, and that was a good effort.
That was a good effort. That one dropped in for Andrew to save his par. We saw a lot of scrambling happening on this hole. I feel like our players were all over the fairway and neighboring fairways.
Yeah, for real. And honestly, we're going to see some great pars here.
Yeah.
Great birdie from Kevin and great pars from all of our other players for hitting pretty early, all three of them, and finding a way to keep it moving and grab that par.
This one out of my hand.
All right, heading into our final hole, hole 18. It wouldn't be Stafford if we didn't end with a tricky little shot. So, par 3, 367 feet. I'm sure Chris is going to prove me wrong with a just stock backhand again, but once again, I think it's more of a flexy shot.
Yeah, you see a lot of players just kind of blast a hyzer and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably what we'll see from Chris. That's what we just saw from Kevin. It kind of got caught up because there are a lot of trees on the backside of the fairway where he was trying to throw through. But yes, this is the pure way. This is the way the course designer intended.
Got away from him just a little bit, but I think that'll still be fine over there. You gotta just clear those bush trees there. He'll be in the fairway. He should have a pretty safe look for par at least.
This one could be good if it gets back to the right angle.
Oh.
It's a tough. 18 is a tough hole. It is a very specific shot shape. There are a lot of late fairway trees that you have to miss as well. Most players, I'm sure, by the end of their rounds are just happy to take a par and get out of there.
See, Andrew trying to finesse something through, and this is where Lucas ended up. Unclear what his looks like, but
Not much of a luck, but he did give it a run off the cage. It's going to be just fine, though, for him. Long look for Kevin. Finds the cage as well. So Chris Villa for a par save on 18 and to lock up a second place finish.
nice putt there to finish out.
Yeah, and a nice round from Chris. Able to shoot the hot round at 9 down. Definitely was throwing the disc very well. Had a couple putting woes on the front 9 that just never quite got close enough to Lucas to make it happen.
Yeah, definitely not a shabby round at all, but Lucas just kept his foot on the gas enough to hold that lead and take home the win for himself out here in New Jersey.
Yeah, here it is. Tap in for par. Put himself at 18 under. And take down the 2025 Stafford Open.
Thank you all very much for coming out. This is your 2025 Stafford Open champion, Lucas Oberholtzer Hess.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
man. Congratulations, bud. Great to see you.
I just want to say thank you to Adam for coming back and running another great Stafford Open. This course means a lot to so many of us, and to have good events out here is huge. Thanks to all my good card mates. Thanks to Harsh for caddying. Shout out Cosmic Disc Golf. Go check them out near here. And Westside Discs.
Hey, buddy.
Adam and Becky Harris are staples in the disc golf community around here, so they always do a great job. Thank you so much for joining us as we see Lucas take down the Stafford Open. And make sure you tune in because we have Lake Marshall coming soon. You won't want to miss it. Here's that final leaderboard. Some very hot rounds out there with Brian and Chris tying that hot round of the day.
Yeah, you love to see it. Some great disc golf all around. We're glad Stafford Woods still exists, you know?
Yes, thankful for that.
And we're glad that you all watched this coverage with us. For Emily Dale, I'm Nathan Johnson. We'll see you next time.
Bye.